Namaste, beloved. This is the Cosmic Pastor, encouraging you to heal deeply so you can live fully. Pluto's prayer. If you're not going through anything particularly hard at this time, why don't you just save this video for a later date? Because if you're privileged to live long enough, there's going to come a dark night of the soul. There will come a time where you are been crushed, devastated, whether through loss of a loved one, betrayal, sickness. Life is guaranteed to send you a Pluto experience from time to time. But for my Scorpio risers, people with Scorpio sun or moon, people with planets in the 8th house, people with a Pluto aspecting in their chart, the sun or the moon, you are Plutonian people. So you should watch this because your life will have more of its share of Pluto themes of transformation and healings, themes of light and darkness, good and evil. Is the 8th house the house of death, but it's the house of transformation. You know, as a Plutonian astrologer, I say that because I have a strong Pluto in my chart. I have dealt with my own share of Pluto themes, whether it's sexual trauma, emotional trauma, physical trauma, not only in my own life, but on a daily basis as an astrologer. I deal constantly with souls that have unfortunately have gone through, just last week, women that have been in sex trafficking, girls that were set free from sex trafficking, people that have violently murdered, loved ones violently murdered, people that have gone through betrayal of loved ones that have cheated on them and they've lost their savings and given everything to a partner only to be left out in the cold. These are things that I deal with on a daily basis, even as a Scorpio. Even if I've gone through my own transformation, the darkness still finds its way at my doorstep. And if I'm not careful, I can become discouraged, I can become weighted down, I can become depressed, I can become fearful and paranoid, and that life has no joy, and that life has no peace, life has no meaning. But life is joy, life has peace, life has meaning. There is that Sagittarius that comes after Scorpio. There is the Jupiter that is along with the Saturn. We're all the planets. We have all of these expressions. But if we're not careful, we can definitely become weighted down with that Scorpio energy of seriousness, of transformation, because you'll get more of your share of the struggle so you can get out of that cocoon and really become the butterfly, the transformation that you are. Because if you try to be the caterpillar too long, you're going to get stepped on and squished, because in this lifetime, Spirit has called you to transform, to create your wings, to be able to fly out of hell. You're the butterfly that the hell causes a cocoon to melt, and you fly out of hell with wings like a phoenix. But I want to really talk about right now Pluto's prayer. Pluto's prayer. And what I mean by Pluto's prayer is, if you have a strong Pluto in your chart, Scorpio in your chart, 8th house in your chart, there is an intense energy that you go through from time to time where it really feels like you are struggling to survive, your life or death. It's fight or flight. And that energy, that anxious energy, that adrenaline energy can become addictive to where we're creating drama unnecessarily, or we're attracting people with drama, right? We're having to heal people constantly, and we become caught up in the drama and that tension. And boy, if you live in that tension too long, that stress will literally it's going to wreak havoc in your aura. It's going to wreak havoc in your body. It's going to wreak havoc in your spirit, unless you learn what Pluto's truly trying to teach you. You see, we want Pluto's transformation. We want Pluto's healing. But do you know what Pluto's really trying to teach you? Is peace. Peace in the midst of death. Peace in the midst of sickness. Peace in the midst of hell. In fact, Pluto's prayer is really known as a serenity prayer. Have you ever heard of the serenity prayer? Lord, help me to accept the things that I cannot change, and the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Maybe you could put it like this: God, give me the peace to accept the things that I cannot change, and the courage to change the things that I can, but the wisdom to know the difference. The struggle of Pluto is the struggle of surrender. It doesn't matter how much you love that toxic man and you want him to change. Sometimes that relationship isn't going to change, and you got to surrender. Surrender. There's a great song called The Shore. Go listen to it by Matt McClure. Meaning sometimes you got to surrender that the relationship isn't going to change. And the only thing that's going to make the relationship different is for you to come out of it. Surrender to the loss. Surrender to the pain. Sometimes when we are trying to get peace, you got to cry your way out of it. You got to scream. You got to cry. You got to call on God until the peace comes. Sometimes you got to fall to pieces until the peace comes. It's okay. It's okay. Psalms 23 says, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Really, the only way you cannot fear, yes, there's faith, right? We think that faith is the opposite of fear. Really, my friend, the faith you have to have is the faith that brings peace. Israel, we look at Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. He wrestled with God until the breaking of day, until the peace came. He limped away. A lot of us with Scorpio Pluto, we are going to limp away. We're going to come out of situations that others would perish in. We're going to come out of it. We're going to come out of it changed. We're going to come out of it transformed. We may come out of it limping or crawling, but we're going to come out of it different. But there will be a peace. Because we've wrestled with the situation long enough that we surrender. Okay, God, it's yours. Okay, higher self, is yours. Okay, love, it is yours. You see, what happens with Pluto, there's that fear. I can change it. I can change it. Really, what Pluto is teaching you is transformation comes through surrender. Many things that you want to change, you're not going to change until you accept it as it is. That's the paradox. The more you resist, the more it persists. But the more you surrender and accept it as it is, and say, this is the situation, it may never change. That's when the Pluto magic of peace and surrender can begin to do what? Take the seed that's really buried and allow it to breathe and come up. So I'm going to encourage you that are out there. This is a Scorpio snack. The greatest lesson you can learn as a young Scorpio is not to get caught up in the drama, not to get caught up in all of the seriousness all the time, to get to the place where you say, I'm going to pray about it until the peace comes. And when the peace comes, I'm not going to worry. I'm going to let the chips fall where they may. Because though I walk through the valley, it's a shadow. It's just a shadow. It's just an illusion. It's just a mirage. Now, if you got people that are dying, yes, that's very real. I'm not trying to say that the death isn't real. We all are going to face that. We're all going to walk through that valley. And so the ancients would say this is an illusion. This is Maya. But boy, when you're going through it, it is life and death. But he said, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thy word, it comforts me. You got to pray and worship and call on God and your higher power and wrestle with your spirit until you get the aha. Not necessarily the aha that I'm going to get my way, or the aha that I understand everything, but the it is going to work out one way or another, and I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. Pray until the peace comes. Pray and surrender until God shows you, no matter what comes your way, you're protected. You are protected. You are protected. You are protected, and you will prosper. He said, I set before you in the presence of your enemies so I can prosper you. If you're in the presence of your enemies, do not be afraid. They cannot kill you or destroy you, not your soul, not what is internal. And what is internally inside you is someone that really all of that pain and suffering is showing a resilient soul that is made of gold. You are gold, and no one can diminish your soul or diminish your gold. And pray till the peace comes. So right now what I ask is, Spirit, that you will send peace to the hearts of all those that are suffering, that are crying. Peace to the mother that is in the hospital with a sick child. Peace to the marriage that is on the rocks because of betrayal and mistrust. Peace to the person that's confused about their finances and where they're going to live next. God, I don't know where my friends are going through right now, but I pray that they can find peace until they get out of that valley. In the name of love I pray. Amen. Namaste.